On days like today, the average retail speculator is scared and panicking as they watch the markets come back down, being distracted by price. But for fundamental investors, we are watching XRP, ROUSD, and today, Ripple custody expanding across the African continent. And this is all part of Ripple's plan for quote unquote aggressive growth. That's right, folks. We have Brad Ginghouse on the stage, I should say, at DC FinTech Week, giving us the update from Ripple. And you're not going to want to miss this update because we're going to keep it quick, straight to the point. And I'm going to show you guys why you should not be distracted by today's price. If anything, probably is presenting a buying opportunity. I'll let you know where I'm going to be scooping up XRP on the low if they send it there. But we're going to talk about the fundamentals and the aggressive growth, more acquisitions being hinted by Brad Ginghouse with a big announcement from Ripple. Right on into it, folks. Market coming back down. Wall Street Journal is reporting that China is deliberately tanking markets to force Trump into major concessions in the trade talks. So once again, this was very orchestrated and manipulated what took place over the past week. From the October 10th largest liquidation event in the history of crypto to this whipsaw back and forth in the markets. President Trump puts out a good tweet, market goes up. Then Scott Bessent says, China can't be trusted, market comes back down. And so the market is on edge, and where we have found safety and security is in the assets that we know are going to back and run the new financial system. Assets that are neutral reserve currencies with utility that is respected and really demanded by the global markets around the world, no matter which country you're from, no matter what religion you're part of, no matter what your background is, the world is finding peace and security and safety in gold, silver, and other commodities, and in XRP as well. Now, this is the moment to step in when everybody else is scared. We're seeing it in the data. XRP's funding and premium close to as negative as it's ever been. Now, what this tracks right here is the rate at which it costs to make a bet going long on XRP or going short, right? So you're going to get a funding premium when everybody's trying to go long. You're going to get a negative funding rate when everybody's scared to go long, when everybody's scared to make an entry on XRP. Now, maybe you're not a leverage trader, and that's probably good. We saw a lot of people get liquidated and had their butts completely wiped out, so that might be good. But it's one data point that tracks sentiment. And what we're seeing right here is the open interest is at the same levels as XRP being at 35 to 40 cents. Retail traders are scared. In fact, I just had somebody in my Discord group sent me a video of another YouTuber making another video about selling all of his XRP to go buy some crap coin. And I just stitched up somebody on TikTok who did the same thing. And I literally started the TikTok. For those of you guys who don't know TikTok stitches, I stitched up like 2-3 seconds of him, oh face, I just sold all of my XRP. And I started off the TikTok by saying, same script, different crap coin, but I actually did end up swearing. I don't like to swear normally, but I thought that I had to get my point across. So I said, same script, different crap coin. And I'm calling it out today, and I'm going to continue to call it out. Because when everybody else is running scared, when all these other influencers are spreading XRP FUD to show you a crap coin that they want you to be exit liquidity on, that's because they don't respect you. They think you're stupid enough to follow them into that trade and be their exit liquidity. They don't respect you. They think you're stupid. And unfortunately, a lot of people do end up following them in. And a lot of these guys, they've built up a reputation, they built up respect, and then they start shilling you crap. And you're wondering, what the heck happened, man? Let's get back to the good content. But I don't focus on what a lot of these guys are talking about because we have so much fundamentals in front of us, so much hard data in front of us, and we're so focused on the moves that we're making right now. I went long XRP and I bought the dip earlier this week. Now we have XRP coming back down here today. And like Crypto Insight UK had posted here, we have a proper reset on the long side of leverage. Shorts are still out there to be taken. And so this means is that folks are scared. They don't want to go long XRP like me. Call me crazy, call me insane, right? Now, I was able to avoid liquidation and I was able to save my position, and I've actually added back to my position at 242. And I've already told the Discord group this, but I'm going to tell you guys here publicly that I also have another order at 225 to front run the 220 order block. So if they want to send it back down to 220, I'm going to laugh. I would say laugh my way to the bank, but I'm going to be laughing my way to checking and making sure that my order gets filled. And I'm making sure that I get my order in by front running that level of support that's at 220 by placing my buy order at 225. So I'm in an XRP long. I added to it earlier this week at 242, bringing my average down to 254. They want to send it lower. We're ready to buy. We have margin so that we don't get liquidated. I got a buy order waiting. Once again, if you're not playing with leverage, that's fine. I'm just showing you how to dollar cost average for the average person that's just looking to acquire their bag of XRP, their first 1,000 XRP, first 10,000 XRP. Maybe you're going to stack 100,000 XRP. How do you do so? Well, you have fundamental conviction in the asset. You're focused on the data points that matter, and you just set your orders and forget it. It's that simple. If you love the asset at $3, you should love it even more at $2.40. And you really got to check and tune out all this FUD that you're seeing out here, which is not backed by fundamentals, not backed by data. Blockchain Backer in his chart did not include 5 to 10 billion of ETFs coming in, inflows, that are expected once the ETFs go live. That's not on his chart. That's not on historical fractals that he's overlaying. That's a data point that should be considered, though, as far as I'm concerned. And then we turn to the fundamentals and the expansion of XRP, RLUSD, and now Ripple custody across the African continent. Ripple is excited to announce that ABSA South Africa, one of Africa's leading financial institutions, is now Ripple's first major custody partner in Africa. Monica Long, the president of Ripple, says last month we announced RLUSD live on the African continent, and today it is Ripple custody through our partnership with ABSA Bank, one of South Africa's leading financial institutions. Now we dig into the press release, and here's where it gets exciting for me. So they go on to say, Ripple, the leading provider of digital asset infrastructure for financial institutions, today announced a strategic partnership with ABSA Bank to provide digital asset custody to the bank's customers in South Africa. So this to me shows that they're enabling, right? It's almost like a white label offer where ABSA Bank gets to offer the service, but really it's being handled by Ripple on the back end. And this is almost a direct offering to Ripple, with just ABSA Bank being put in the middle, right? But this is the first that I've really seen where they're offering digital asset custody to a bank's customers, right? This isn't just back end settlement. This isn't just an institution tapping into on-demand liquidity on the back end. This is digital asset custody for the bank's customers. Now, through this partnership, ABSA will leverage Ripple's institutional-grade digital asset custody technology to deliver scalable and secure storage for tokenized assets, including cryptocurrencies. Now, speculating a little bit further, we've been talking about how more stablecoins, CBDCs, and other tokenized real-world assets are coming to the XRP ledger. Ripple's laid the blueprint with RLUSD and really set the standard. But they have enabled any of their institutional partners with the blueprint and with the ability to hold their hand, providing custody services, providing on-demand liquidity, other resources for treasury management. They're enabling all of this to happen now as far as the tokenization of real-world assets and additional stablecoins. And it's in particular countries like this that need to tokenize those real-world assets. Remember, like I said, what's BRICS gonna come together and do a deal on? People have been speculating on this for a while, and I just got to the point where I said, you know what, guys, we can speculate on what BRICS is going to use as a neutral reserve currency or a settlement currency, but we can confirm right now that they all love gold, they all love silver, they all love oil, they all love other good, solid and proven commodities that actually run the world. And then I created a playlist to take it one step further titled BRICS Loves XRP. Go check that out on my YouTube channel. Old videos, but still relevant today if you're confused about how this plays out. Institutions within BRICS and countries outside of BRICS have already tapped into Ripple's network of on-demand liquidity, which settles in XRP. And so this is why I say XRP, RLUSD, and now Ripple custody is expanding across the African continent. For those of you guys that have been here in the game for a while, you will recall the On Afric institution, another banking institution payment platform in Africa that Ripple partnered up with a couple years ago that tapped them into 40 different countries across the continent, bringing almost full coverage of the African continent for Ripple's on-demand liquidity product settling in XRP. This is before ROUSD. This is before Ripple custody. And now they're making their move. Now I'm going to play a clip from Brad Ginghouse speaking on stage at DC FinTech Week. Give me about 120 seconds. It's about a 2-minute clip. And there's a couple key things to pick up on. Number one, Brad Ginghouse was deplatformed and debanked by Citibank. And he's going to comment on this about how this is public. Citibank debanked him, and now they're partnering up with Citibank. Now Citibank is coming to speak at Ripple Swell Conference. And then he's asked directly about mergers and acquisitions. He's going to comment about the aggressive growth that Ripple is focused on, but then the acquisitions that they already made, and the low-key flex when he describes the Hidden Road acquisition, spending $1.25 billion to acquire the largest prime brokerage platform that's not a bank. The largest non-bank brokerage platform in America was just acquired by Ripple earlier this year. Most people in crypto don't understand this because they're so focused on price action, or they're market cap morons, which is the new term that I'm coming up with. I used to call them the market cap bros. Now I'm going to call them the market cap morons because that's what they're distracted by. There's no way the XRP could go to 500 billion market cap, bro. Let's let Brad Ginghouse take it away.
So mergers and acquisitions. I wanted to ask, because Ripple has a number of examples of companies that they have acquired in the stablecoin realm, in the sort of infrastructure realm. What is sort of the plan here? What's the thought process? What's the end goal?
You know, partly because of the shift, I think people still underestimate the U.S. as the largest economy in the world went from very strong headwinds to pretty strong tailwinds. Now, we're still figuring out as an industry, what do those tailwinds mean in the United States? And again, having the chief legal officer from Citibank, is an example of that shift. And I think he even talked about how it was very, very hard for them to engage this industry. This has been publicly reported, but I personally was debanked by Citibank during the last 4 years. And I think, happily we're past that stage. But I still think people underestimate the shift in those headwinds and tailwinds. And Ripple's thesis has been, okay, now is a time to really be aggressive about growth. And that is both organic growth and continuing to build. We're in the payments business, leveraging core technologies around blockchain and the XRP ledger around payments. We're in the custody business. We're in the stablecoin business. And then earlier this year, to your point around mergers and acquisitions, we spent $1.25 billion to buy Hidden Road, a prime broker, frankly, the largest non-bank prime broker out there. And we bought for $200 million, a stablecoin company called Rail, which was one of the leading stablecoin companies for the enterprise. So corporate treasury looking to use stablecoins to solve some of their internal movement of money, and that has been a great acquisition for us. So we're going to continue to play offense. I hope I have some more news on that very, very soon. And we think now is the time to invest, and that partly because of that macro shift in government policy for the United States.
More to report on very soon, he says. Now I'm going to show you guys here real quick. This is Ryan Rugg, who is Global Head of Digital Assets and Treasury and Trade Solutions at Citi, joining the star-studded lineup here of speakers at Ripple Swell Conference November 4th and 5th in New York. Now imagine the positioning here of Brad Ginghouse, somebody who actually got debanked by Citi, and now he's sitting down at the table getting deals signed for Citibank to partner up with Ripple and to come speak at Ripple Swell Conference, right? So like I said here, and the reason why I wanted to get this video out, and I started off by saying retail speculators who haven't researched the fundamentals, aren't looking at the right data, they're hyper-focused on today's price. And more so, this is where it gets sad, they're focused on, I threw $500 at XRP, and now it's worth $450. I threw $10,000 at XRP, now it's worth $9,000 because it came down a little bit. Instead of focusing on, how much XRP do you have based off of where XRP is headed on this trajectory of fundamental tailwinds that are going to push XRP up into double digits. And so while you're focused on, did I lose a couple $100 here or there? Did I lose a few grand? For some of us to have big bags of XRP, we may have lost 5, 6, 7 digits on your XRP portfolio when it comes down a little bit. But we use that as a buying opportunity because we have the data points right here. We have the veil being lifted on the partnerships that we already knew existed because we've been in this game researching Ripple, XRP, everything that Brad Ginghouse, David Schwartz, and the team, every time that they speak, every time they show up, we're decoding and solving all of the riddles to understand where this was going. And so it's no surprise to those of us that have been researching this that all of these partnerships are coming out with Citibank, BlackRock, etc. But retail speculator sees number went down, that's bad. Clickbait YouTuber put out some trash, XRP FUD. I better sell and go buy this crap coin on Solana because I just watched the YouTuber say that's the move. Please stay safe out there. And if you guys are looking to take advantage of it, we got our sponsor, I Trust Capital, who is helping you front run the institutions right now, folks. Buy and sell crypto with I Trust Capital. The promo code is Rector9, all caps, Rector9, to get that $100 funding bonus. We're looking at them offering the traditional Roth and SEP IRA. You can invest in crypto and precious metals in that IRA account, and you can fund it by rolling over a 401k as well. They also offer the premium custody account, 1% on the transaction fee, institutional grade custody. Absolutely love it. And this is why we tapped in I Trust Capital as a sponsor of the show. Promo code is Rector9. We appreciate them for helping out the community. So once again, that's linked up down below. Promo code Rector9. You guys see what I'm showing you here with the fundamentals, with the inflows that are going to come in. How long is the government going to stay shut down? We don't know, but we're going to invest in the inevitable, which is we are eventually going to get those ETFs. And eventually we're getting 5 to 10 billion of inflows into XRP, which is taking us to double digits. The only question that we're left with is, do you have enough XRP? Not what today's price is. So take advantage of it while it's below $3. Soon you'll be looking back and saying, man, I should have swooped up XRP below 5, should have scooped it up below 10, should have scooped it up between 20 and $30 as we head on our way to eventually what I see being a $100 XRP. So with that being said, everything's at our website, ZachRector.com. I appreciate you for stopping by, and we will see you guys in the next one. God bless you all. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.